Hello and welcome to the video tutorial about domain names. What is a domain name? When we think about surfing the internet, what is it that we need? First is the device to connect to the internet. Second is the internet connection for sure. Third is the web browser. Fourth is the website URL, that is, the website that you want to surf. This URL contains the domain name of the website, that is, the name of the website that we know of. So what is a domain name? It is an easy to remember alphanumeric address of a website. What is a domain structure? A domain structure would contain the root domain and the top level domain. For example, in the domain name google.com, com is the TLD, that is, top level domain. Com stands for commercial. Google is the root domain, that is, the custom name of the website. What is a domain name? Now we know that it is the name of the website. It needs to be purchased by the owner, and when it is purchased, it gets registered with the domain name registrar. For example, we have google.com, google.in, facebook.com, codewizacademy.com. These are all domain names. What is a TLD? Top level domain. It is the rightmost part of the domain after the dot of the root domain. For example, .com for commercial, .edu for educational, .co for company. Then we have country-specific codes that can be used as a TLD. For example, .us for United States, .in for India, .eu for Europe, .au for Australia, and so on. .net stands for network. .org stands for organization. So there are a host of other options also available. When you want to choose a domain name, you will get a list of available options that you can choose from. What is a root domain? That is the name of your website. That is the custom name that you can get. For example, Google, Facebook, Codewiz Academy. So you can decide what name do you want for your website. Thus, a domain name is a combination of the root domain and the top level domain. What is a subdomain? A subdomain is the part of the URL towards the left of the root domain, not including www. It is separate from root domain. It needs to be linked to the root domain in the cPanel. For example, mail.google.com. So google.com being the domain name, mail is the subdomain. Similarly, course.codewizacademy.com. In this, course is the subdomain of codewizacademy.com. What is a subfolder? It is a space or folder within the website folder. It is the part of the URL followed after the / towards the right of the TLD. For example, in codewizacademy.com /blog/blog title. Blog is a subfolder. Blog title is the title of the blog post, and blog is the subfolder that follows after the TLD, that is .com. Similarly, codewizacademy.com /tutorial/tutorial title. In this, tutorial is the subfolder and tutorial title is the tutorial page that we have. Now, what is a URL? A URL is Uniform Resource Locator. what all does it include? It includes the TLD. Starting from the right of the URL comes the TLD. Then towards the left of TLD is the root domain. Towards the left of the root domain is the subdomain. And towards the left of www would be the protocol, HTTPS. So, in the URL https www.mail.google.com, com is the TLD, Google is the root domain, mail is the subdomain, and HTTPS is the protocol. What is a protocol? An internet protocol is a set of rules that govern the functioning of the internet. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. This is a secure form of HTTP, which means that the data that is transferred using HTTPS over the internet is secure. Here is another example of a URL. To the leftmost part of the URL is the protocol, HTTPS. Next is EN, which is a subdomain. Wikipedia is the root domain. Org is the top-level domain. Wiki is the subfolder. URL is the name of the page. Pound is used for hyperlink on the same page. Syntax here is the location within the same page to which it is hyperlinked. So this is a complete URL that you can see here. In this URL, as we can see, EN is the subdomain. EN stands for English. If you change EN to FR, the page content will get converted into French, because then what you will be seeing will be generated from the subdomain that is dedicated for French. So the same content is set up on different subdomains on Wikipedia depending on the language that you choose. You can go and try that with any of the language code. FR is for French, and you can find other language codes as well. Domain name versus URL. A domain name only contains the root domain and the top-level domain, whereas a URL will contain a protocol, the domain name, possibly a subfolder, and the resource name, that is the page or the post that you want to serve through. A domain name does not contain the subdomain. A URL can contain the subdomain. A domain name does not contain the subfolder. A URL can contain a subfolder. The domain name, that is the root domain followed by the top-level domain, will generally link to the home page of the website. Whereas, in the case of a URL, it can be the address of a page, a post, an image, an audio file, or any other resource that you have on the internet under the website. And it will always be unique for every resource. Now let us see how does these differ at the back end of the website, that is at the cPanel of your website. Here is a domain, codewizacademy.com. This is one folder that you will find under the home directory /public_HTML of your cPanel. You will find a folder by the name of the website. Then this folder can contain a subfolder within it. This could be a blog, a tutorial, or any other kind of subfolder that you would need. Then we have a subdomain. What is a subdomain? Now we have one domain name, codewizacademy.com, and a folder dedicated for that, within which we have a subfolder blog, but a subdomain will not reside inside the root domain. A subdomain will be a separate folder, and you will have to link the subdomain with the root domain in the cPanel to give it an identity that this subdomain belongs to this root domain. How do we do that? We will see that in a while. Next is an add-on domain. In an add-on domain, here we have one root domain, codewizacademy.com, which has its independent subfolder or a subdomain, whatever it needs to have. It is not mandatory to have a subdomain. It could be that there is a subdomain linked to the root domain as per your requirement. Now I have purchased a hosting which allows me to host multiple websites or multiple domains. Because of that feature that I have got in the hosting plan, I can add another domain to my hosting server. So here is another domain, that is somedomain.com. That is any name that you want to have for an add-on domain. You will purchase that domain and set it up to be hosted from the same server space. Because I have purchased a hosting plan which allows me to host multiple domains. How many domains are allowed? That depends on the hosting plan that you have chosen. Now this add-on domain can have its independent subfolder or a subdomain depending on the requirement again, if this add-on domain would require any. So that was about the domain name, subdomain, add-on domain, and a subfolder. Now we will see how to add a subdomain in the cPanel. Once you have logged into the cPanel, scroll down towards the domains section. Here you will see an option for add-on domains, subdomains. Now, when you click on subdomains, here you will have to enter the name of the subdomain that you want and choose the domain that you want. So you have to choose the root domain and enter the custom name of the subdomain that you want. Here you can specify the document root, that is, where do you want this subdomain to be created, as in the folder for the subdomain to be created. So a preferable location is under the home directory /public_html/ the subdomain. So although the subdomain is linked to the domain name ramaedutech.com, but it will reside under the home directory public_html/learn. Click on create. It has been created successfully. Go back. Now when you will go to the file manager, you will see a folder by the name of the subdomain learn has been created, as we have just created it, and at the location, that is home directory public_html learn. Now this is an empty directory as of now because we have not added anything to it yet. This is how you create a subdomain and link it to the root domain that you want. So that is about this tutorial. If you found this tutorial helpful, please subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more such tutorials. Thank you very much.